Welcome to the Jaybefaunt channel. I am coming to you now because we have a breaking news story just to let you guys know. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please go ahead and like the stream and we will get right into the story. We actually have breaking news that just came out of the Tehran Times that Israel has planned a strike on the United States. This was a false flag attack that was going to be planned on the United States of America. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at this article. This is actually out of the Tehran Times. I want to get into this right now. So let's take a look here and we shall get into it right now for you guys. This is exclusive. Israel planned false flag operation on U.S. soil. This is straight out of the Tehran Times. So let's get into it. It says information obtained by the Tehran Times shows that Israel was plotting to carry out an explosion on U.S. soil and subsequently blamed Iran with the apparent aim of instigating a full-scale war between the United States and Iran. The plan involved orchestrating a destructive event within the U.S., fabricating evidence to implicate Iran, thereby manipulating American public opinion and prompting military action. Iran uncovered the Israeli plot through information shared by a friendly nation. Upon learning of the potential attack, Iranians sent messages to U.S. officials and prevented the planned explosion from occurring. So now, as we are seeing at this point in time, there has not been word that the U.S. officials have received word about this actually happening. They have not corroborated this. Something tells me that even if it actually did happen, U.S. officials would not corroborate that as well, because ultimately they really do want regime change in Iran anyway. And so really, and if anything false flag was going to happen, I wouldn't doubt that the U.S. officials, at least some within the deep state, which Donald Trump himself has actually become a lapdog to, that they would know when it was going to happen, just like they knew officially that Iran was going to be attacked by Israel. So this is what has been going on in the background. And this is really big story happening. This actually really should be international news that that should be reported on right now by the big media outlets, but it will not be reported on by the big corporate media outlets like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. I doubt even OAN would report on this. I doubt Newsmax will report on this. And so this is why independent media is so important. But this is not off brand for Israel, right? And in fact, Israel has been the ones who have been saying the same thing over and over again for years. And we'll just take a look into that, because I really think that we should also see the history of what Israel, namely Benjamin Netanyahu, has been doing into trying to drum up support for fighting different countries in the Middle East that Israel, and by extension the United States, do not like. So I just want to share this really quickly with you guys first. And so here is a video of over 20 years ago that Benjamin Netanyahu was basically saying the same thing in regards to Iraq. So let's take a listen.
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever. The nuclear armed Saddam will place the security of our entire world at risk. And make no mistake about it, if and once Saddam has nuclear weapons, the terror network will have nuclear weapons. There is no question whatsoever.
So basically, as we can see, that this was back in 2002 that Benjamin Netanyahu was speaking to Congress basically about the potential of Iraq having weapons of mass destruction. But as we know, this isn't Benjamin Netanyahu or Israel's first rodeo. So let's go ahead and take a look at this as well, because this is actually talks about that he's been at this for 33 years. That's right, folks, 33 years. So when it comes to false flag attacks, Israel and drumming up support for wars, especially in the Middle East. Israel is pretty much the premier at doing this. Let's take a look at this. And this actually shows Benjamin Netanyahu's his pattern of behavior.
You've probably heard this line before.
Iran has never given up its quest for nuclear weapons and the missiles to deliver them.
That's because Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying this for more than 30 years, claiming Iran is close to having
Nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons. Atomic bombs.
In 1992, as a member of parliament, Netanyahu addresses the Knesset. He says, within 3 to 5 years, we can assume that Iran will become autonomous in its ability to develop and produce a nuclear bomb. 3 years later, in his book Fighting Terrorism, he repeats the same time frame, 3 to 5 years.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Fast forward to 2002. Netanyahu testifies before a U.S. congressional committee actively calling for the invasion of Iraq.
Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
The two nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons, is Iraq and Iran.
So if you see there was Dennis Kucinich asking Benjamin Netanyahu about the U.S. Doing preemptive attacks. These preemptive attacks mean that there was nothing done to the United States at all. And so therefore, they feel like, well, you know what? We need to get them before they get us, even though the crime hasn't been committed. And so this is what Benjamin Netanyahu is on brand for. This is what he does. He will drum up support. Really, this is for the Greater Israel Project, so he can expand the borders of Israel so that he can take over the land. And really, this is for the corporate powers, because the corporate powers want Israel to expand so they can have more resources, more land in the area so they can make more money and basically own other parts of the world. And so this is part of settler colonialism. This is part of imperialism. And this is something that they have been doing for decades. And so as you can see here, Benjamin Netanyahu really is the guy that sells to the American people why imperialism is good, why imperialism should happen. And so he sells it through making it sound like these countries that are in West Asia are really a threat to us, when in reality, they are not a threat to us. In fact, it is the reverse. We are a threat to them because of the imperialist goals of the United States. And really by, at its fundamentals, the corporate powers that control the U.S. government. Let's continue on just a little bit more here as well.
The invasion happens months later. No weapons of mass destruction are found in Iraq. This is a fragment of a 2009 U.S. State Department cable released by WikiLeaks. Netanyahu tells members of Congress that Iran is 1 or 2 years away from being capable of developing nuclear weapons.
They're online.
It's 2012, and Netanyahu is holding up his infamous cartoon bomb at the UN General Assembly.
By next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb.
And now, 33 years after Netanyahu's first so-called imminent warning, Israel attacks Iran.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
That's despite the U.S. Director of National Intelligence saying Iran isn't building a nuclear weapon months earlier.
Iran lied.
But for Netanyahu,
Big time.
the slogan has been the same for decades. Dmitry Medvedenko, Al Jazeera.
So that has been really the history of Israel. And make no mistake, a lot of people, especially progressives, will blame Netanyahu exclusively. But this is Israel. This is how they have been. Whether you have a liberal Zionist or a conservative Zionist is a Zionist. And that's why they want to expand the borders of Israel to cover the entire Middle East. And really, this expansion is not for the people. This is really for the corporations. Let me remind you that there are hundreds of millions of tons of liquefied natural gas that are under Gaza. This is one of the reasons why Gaza is being bombed right now, to get rid of the people, the native people of Gaza, the Palestinians that are there, as well as there is tons of oil off the coast of Gaza in the Mediterranean. And so this is why always go back to who benefits. Ask yourself that question. Who benefits from this? It is not about the Jewish people. They do not give a damn about Jewish people, because if the United States actually gave a damn about Jewish people, we wouldn't be supplying weapons to Nazis in Ukraine. And as well as we would not be, if the United States actually cared about Jewish people, they would not allow them to be placed in harm's way while illegally occupying a land of a people that have been there for thousands of years. And so because of that, then they really show that they really do not care about anybody but the corporate dictators, the oligarchs, the billionaire class, the capitalist class, the parasite class. And so this is why this story is so important. Share this video with as many people as you possibly can. Let people know that this is what they were planning to do, to spill American blood, to drum up support so that they can have a war between the United States and Iran, so that they can destroy Iran, so that they can move in and either have regime change, or in order to expand the borders of Israel, really just for the real estate oligarchs and the oil barons. That's really what this is about. Ultimately, this is imperialism and colonialism at its highest order. And so this is why it should be wholeheartedly rejected. And the fact is that I honestly am willing to believe that the United States already knew about this, and they do not want to say a peep about it, because then that means that the government of the United States would be complicit. And may also make no mistake about this, is that it doesn't matter whether it's a Democrat or Republican administration, both American regimes, whether it's the Biden regime or the Trump regime, they would have allowed the exact same thing to happen, because they all have the same bosses. The bosses is the parasite class, the class that aims to put you under their thumb so that they own you and everything else around you. So that's the thing that we have to be careful of. And so Israel really is their tool to be able to keep a foot on the necks of the people in the Middle East, whereas they have their foot on the necks of people throughout the global South as well, because that's where a lot of the resources are. So yes, this is what has been happening. Please continue to keep your eyes peeled. As Kikabello would say from Heartlands Media, keep your head on a swivel, and we will bring you whatever breaking news that we have so far in the near future. But I just wanted to make sure to bring this up to you. Thank you so much to everybody who has contributed to the channel, all the patrons on Patreon. Without you guys, we would not be able to do this type of work. So I just want to thank you guys for that. And look, we will continue to follow the story and keep you up to date. So thank you so very much to all of you. You guys have yourself a wonderful day. This was a special breaking news stream by Jaybefaunt. Take care, folks.